Candid, captivating, compelling. Welcome to Cannabis Confidential with Dr. Dina. Listen in as Dr. Dina, medical marijuana pioneer and inspiration for the award-winning TV series Weeds, shares never-before-heard stories, chats with cannabis insiders and celebrity friends, and provides invaluable perspective and insight into one of the fastest-growing industries in the world. CannabisRadio.com proudly presents Cannabis Confidential with your host, Dr. Dina.
Welcome to Cannabis Confidential. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Dr. Dina. I've got a little bit of a raspy, sexy voice today. I saved it for you guys. I was at the High Times Cannabis Concentrate Cup this last weekend, and I actually took home first place for Rosin Tech, for flower rosin, for the strawberry banana from Cali Sifco. And then, as a total surprise, we won again first place for compound concentrates, which is one of the most exciting awards I think we've ever won, because this is a hash made by Hashy Larry or Dabalicious. It's from the Divine Fiore line. And what they do is they have been experimenting with different terpenes and different terpene profiles. And so this batch of strawberry banana that we actually won for had actual real strawberries infused into the hash oil. So it was blasted strawberries. So it was really tasty. And there were a lot of people a few years ago that were unsure if that was like fair to enter into the cup. And so they banned those types of entries from the cup for a few years. And then they created an entry for that type. And then we won it. So woohoo, I'm super excited. And I got to hang out with some really cool people. And the weekend before that, or 2 weekends before that, was Chalice Festival. And ironically, in 2 weekends from now will be the Stoners Cup. So it's one festival after the next year. And I got to run into my dear friend, Jose, who I got to become friendly with on Instagram. And his Instagram profile is OneGuru1. And he is one of those people that it just inspires you to keep on going. And you know, on Cannabis Confidential, I like to change up the type of guests that we have. We have anyone from Whoopi Goldberg. We had Bow Wow, which was recently in a bunch of controversy about something he posted online. We've had hash makers and parents with children that have cancer and are using cannabis oil. Well, today we're going to go for a different angle. And Jose Martinez is a really special guy. He was one of the very few people that signed up to protect our country and fight for our country in the military, and he joined the Army. And what happened since then has changed the world that he lives in, and I'm going to bring him on to tell us more about his amazing story and why I find that his story is so inspirational. And every one of us that sit around and think, gosh, I'm having a bad day, gosh, life sucks, I want you to listen to this story and realize how lucky you have it, and how don't sweat the small stuff, because if Jose can carry on with what he does in life like a rock star, we have no excuse. And that's why I like having people like Jose around in my life to remind me that life is precious and to be grateful for every single day, and we are powerful, and we don't have to be whole to be powerful. So please welcome Jose Martinez from Weed for Warriors.
Wow, thank you very much, Dina. I don't think I could match up to Whoopi Goldberg or Bow Wow or anybody, but like you said, I'm just another person here trying to show the world that we can be a little bit different.
Well, guess what, Jose? You just did. So there. You're now amongst the likes of Whoopi Goldberg and Bow Wow. And we'll be having Snoop Dogg on as soon as his tour is over. He promised me that he'd be coming on. And so tell us a little bit about your experience. How old were you when you joined the Army?
Well, I joined at the age of 21, so I was a little bit older than the normal age that everybody goes into. A lot of my friends were 18 years old, and so I was a little bit more mature.
What made you do this?
To be honest with you, I was a very, very bad person before I joined the military, and the day before I was actually in a very bad place. So either I took the unselfish route of being an unselfish person and do something for this world, or just be the same egotistical person that I was becoming and growing, and probably would have ended up in dead or in jail, to be honest with you, but probably dead before even in jail.
So you think it was to get you away from the environment you were in?
Not to get me away, because any environment that we would be in honestly would make us become the person that we wanted to at the end of the day. But to be honest with you, I think it was for me that I needed to prove myself that I can be unselfish and I could do something for somebody else.
Wonderful. Okay, so you joined the Army and you were sent to Afghanistan. And what was that like?
It was actually a very great and humbling experience. As sad as it sounds, or not sad, but to be honest with you, I found myself and I started loving myself in Afghanistan. I realized that we didn't need a lot of things in life, and money wasn't one of them. And as long as we were okay, we were laughing and smiling, we could enjoy the day. It didn't matter how bad the day was, as long as my friends were there with me. So I found that camaraderie that I guess I was looking for, that reason that I wanted to be unselfish.
And how long were you serving before that fateful day that changed your life forever?
Well, we got to Afghanistan in November. I was hurt in March 3rd. So we were there probably a couple months before I got hit.
And so tell our listeners what exactly happened, because I've heard it from you, but I think they need to hear it from you as well.
On the actual day, so March 3rd, 2012, around 12 o'clock, we went out on a mission. And we were told that we just needed to protect and cover certain people so they can work on an area. We were told, actually, that there were bombs in the area, so we made sure that we were sleeping and making sure everything was okay and secure. Where we ended up being at wasn't the best place for us, so we ended up picking up and moving out. The minute we picked up, I took about 6 steps, and my right foot ended up stepping on a primary IED, which was pretty much an explosive device that they make. And it was 60 pounds worth of IED, so it was meant for a vehicle. Wow. I flew up about 10 feet in the air. The minute I landed, I knew what was going on. I never lost consciousness. My right arm was broken, but it was still attached. My left foot below the knee was broken, but still attached. And my whole right foot was completely gone. So all the way up, pretty much right under the pelvis is what I got to see of my right leg. Oh. And I was actually open. All my guts were hanging out. Like literally all my guts were hanging out. And that happened, my guys jumped on top of me. So they're taking care of me. And the minute they jumped on top of me, we were having conversations. I was yelling at them, telling them to leave me there, that I wanted to die. And they were just yelling at me back, telling me that I'll be okay. Would be at home in 2 weeks drinking a beer. And we were fighting there for about, I think, 20 minutes. That we were there just going back and forth, me and them. I mean, I was literally telling them, just leave me there. There's no point. I mean, everybody was freaking out because of how bad it was, but no one was giving up on me. Everybody was taking care of me. Everybody was making sure I was okay. Honestly, if it wasn't for my guys jumping on top of me, I probably would not be here right now. If it wasn't for them yelling at me and holding my arms down because I was fighting them, I was literally fighting them so they can just leave me there to die. Like I said, I was in a bad place before I joined the military, and to me, my parents are Hispanic, so the best thing I could have done is done something for my country, and then they would have been proud of it. So to me, I was fulfilling my destiny, and I wasn't going to go.
That's pretty powerful, Jose. That's pretty powerful right there. So I can't imagine 20 minutes of being like that. On a second probably felt like an hour. You know, I can't imagine just the shock that you must have been going through and all those. They got you to the hospital. You said you were in a coma for 10 days?
Yeah, I was in actually a coma for 10 days. So the last thing I remember, they flew me in the helicopter. I remember getting in the helicopter. I remember also landing. So the day before, one of my sergeants actually had gotten hit in the bomb. And he was okay. Everything was okay with his body, but the Army was still making sure that he was okay. So they were checking his brain and stuff like that. So where I ended up landing, he was already there. He was waiting for us to see. He wanted to see who it was. One of his guys had gotten hit. The thing I actually remember is Sergeant Harris actually crying and his tears falling down onto my cheek. Could have been there. And I woke up 10 days later in Washington, D.C. in Bethesda, actually looking to my left and seeing my family there. I blinked about 100 times, and every single time I was hoping that I was still in Afghanistan, wishing that none of this had happened. I was hoping that it was actually a dream. I had found a safe place. I had found happiness before I blew up, and my whole world turned all over again.
And that means you were not meant to go then. And that's why it is so important for us to continue this. We have to run to a commercial break to hear a word from our sponsors. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Jose to hear the rest of his incredible, powerful story. Don't go anywhere.
Cannabis Confidential with Dr. Dina will continue after a word from our most confident sponsors.
Play as Ted Growing, expelled botany sophomore and the biggest grower in town, only on Weed Firm Replanted. Available on the App Store and Google Play.
It's a lot of work being the biggest grower in town. Maintaining a room full of plants while dealing with a slew of eccentric customers? From a hardcore partier to the curious neighbor next door.
Is anybody home?
Help me expand my bud business by unlocking new strains, customizing my grow room, and completing challenges that you can't get enough of. Grow your empire so big you can see it from space. Low on funds? Don't worry. Weed Firm Replanted is free to download.
Download Weed Firm Replanted for free on the App Store and Google Play today. Get growing, Mr. Growing.
Cash?
Sorry.
I don't carry around cash, and I don't want to use the ATM and pay surcharges.
You don't need to carry cash. Haven't you heard about PayQuick?
Okay, tell me about PayQuick.
It's the safe and easy way to pay. It works just like your debit card to securely pay for your purchase, and it gives you rewards points every time you use it.
Nice.
PayQuick, the safe and easy way to pay. PayQuick.com.
Thousands of cannabis professionals convene this August in Portland, Oregon, to the city responsible for $500 million in cannabis commerce. The Portland Expo Center hosts Indo Expo, August 6th and 7th. Indo Expo has seed to sale covered all weekend long, with educational seminars and over 250 exhibitors. Lights, nutrients, trimmers, extractors, greenhouses, cutting-edge grow gear, genetics, smoking accessories, and more. Free admission for buyers, store owners, and MJ industry professionals. Visit www.indoexpo.com. Educator, author, and advocate Dr. Mitch Earlywine is here to tackle the burning issues.
And I'm here to clear up the myths about cannabis and burn them away with science.
CannabisRadio.com presents a no-holds-barred platform that seeks to redefine and revolutionize the entire scope of the cannabis culture while opening the door for more to join the cannabis crusade.
Dr. Kevin Hill.
You can't ignore the fact that, like alcohol, most people who use don't have a problem. So I think that you need to think about policy in that way while educating people properly about marijuana. I think that's the way to go.
Burning Issues, only on CannabisRadio.com.
Dr. Dina is back with more Cannabis Confidential, only on CannabisRadio.com.
And we're back. Thank you for waiting. We have Jose again to continue this amazing story. We left off, you were in a coma for 10 days. You wake up in a hospital in Bethesda, in D.C. or Washington, and now you're looking over, you're seeing your family. You can't believe your eyes, and you realize that there was a reason why you were still here.
So I guess remember I said before I joined the military I wanted to do something unselfish?
Yes.
So I actually promised myself that if I ever was to get back from Afghanistan, that I would try to help as many people as possible. I mean, people in my situations, just people that want to be helped, you know?
But what's really fascinating is before you decided to even help people, you know, when you're suffering from the pain the massive amounts of pain that you must have had, you know, waking up, having lost. Now, you lost after your accident, you woke up. Did you have your broken leg? Did they amputate your leg at that point?
When I woke up, I actually triple amputee, but my friend was actually telling me, I kind of forget because of how bad I was on all the prescription pills. I don't really remember the first week, but my best friend was there, so he goes, you had part of your right side, but they said that they couldn't save it, that it was so splinted all the way to your pelvis that they had to take off pretty much make myself a hip disarticulate.
So at that point, you're now being fed pharmaceutical painkillers, and I'm sure you're suffering from depression, as anyone would, waking up like that, and fed more pills, and that brings you to the state that you were telling me about, where you were just pills and just being miserable, right?
Yeah, so for a year and a half, I actually was still wishing that this was all a dream. A lot of the pills that they gave me, they would put me in a state of mind that I was just numb. And because of how numb I was, I didn't want to feel anybody. I didn't want to see anybody. I didn't want to be around anybody. People were staring at me and talking at me, or they would just point from far. I mean, the list goes on and on. I would try walking at certain points, and people that I would walk around would drop me. They would push me out of their way. I mean, I was literally treated in a sense like an animal. I was just given, wouldn't be bothering anybody, so I can just literally be numb. I mean, it was to the point where my wife now, she was my girlfriend at the time, she would actually fall asleep on my chest crying every night because she couldn't see me breathing. She couldn't see my chest rise. Even if she would put a mirror to my nose, there was nothing there. So to give her that impression that I was actually alive. So every night she would actually fall asleep crying, just hoping that I would wake up the next day. I actually tried committing suicide 3 times with pills. They would give me a giant jar of pills. Sometimes it would be oxygen. Sometimes it all depends. I have to be honest with you. I would just drop them, take as many as possible, and I would probably wake up about 2 days later, 3 days later sometime,
Well, and one's here for a reason. So how did you discover cannabis?
After my 3rd time that I actually tried committing suicide, since I failed at that miserably, in a sense, I just felt like I was a failure. I was so bad at being bad
you couldn't even kill yourself.
I couldn't even kill myself, So from that day on, what I did, I went from all the pills that I was actually intaking, I threw them away, and that was probably the worst and best thing I did ever. If people have seen Ray Charles' movie, I literally looked like that when he was getting off of his drugs. I was crying, I couldn't sleep, I was having nightmares, I was having night terrors, the shivers, throwing up, diarrhea. I couldn't do anything for 2 weeks straight. And my dad would plead me, he would beg me so I can take just one pill so I can pass out for at least an hour or two. And he was there suffering with me. So I told him, Dad, I have a very, very addictive personality. If I take just this one, I'm going to pick it up all over again. So I forced myself not to do anything for those 2 weeks. After those 2 weeks, I think about a month later, I signed out of the military, so I was officially out. I mean, the only reason why I didn't try cannabis while I was in is because I knew they would have taken all my rights away. They would have, all my care, everything that I could have had, they would have taken away from me if I would have ever done the drug test and not pass it. So I waited until I actually signed the dotted line that I was officially out. That same day, I went to go and get cannabis and never looked back after that. I've been walking, I've been hunting, I've been whitewater rafting, I've been rock climbing. I do everything a normal human being does. After that, I've never been handicapped. It opened my mind all over again and made me realize the person that I once was.
And when did you start working for the Weed for Warrior Project?
So I think about 3 years ago. pretty much right about the time that I actually started picking up on cannabis, Kevin Richardson, the founder, actually stumbled across me while we were at High Times. And he literally around, he's like, "Hey, man, are you a vet?" And I turned around, like, "How'd you know?" And he just looked down, and he just started laughing.
That's funny.
So what he wanted to do was pretty much just give to all the veterans as much as he could as possible. And now he has chapters all over the U.S. trying to do the same thing.
And for our
right
listeners, I just want to say that Weed for Warriors Project, their sole purpose on their website, I'm going to read this right from their website, their sole purpose is to advocate to the Veterans Affairs Administration on behalf of all veterans. Founded in 2014, the Weed for Warrior Project aims to allow veterans the freedom to use medical marijuana as a recognized medical alternative to harmful psychiatric drugs without discrimination or unjust actions against the individual. So just as Jose was saying, if he had used cannabis while he was still getting benefits from the military, they would cease to pay his benefits, his medical bills, even fighting for our country. And so clearly there's something very, very wrong here.
Yeah, definitely.
We have experiences more than ever by meeting all these other veterans. There's so many vets out there that need access to cannabis and they're not getting it. And it's really sad. And when I look at your smile and I know that, the positivity that you bring people, and I know that's part of your calling in life, it's a reason, there's a have, and there's a reason why you're here. And I tell people that this all the time who have gone through stuff like you, I call it stuff because everyone goes through stuff. Some might be really brutal, like what you went through. And that is, to me, like a worst case scenario, but you're positive and you're still here and you're still walking and you're still talking and you're still helping other people. And that's what's so important here. And we all need to try to band together and give back to different associations like Weed for Warrior Project. Check them out. Weed for Warrior. It's WFWproject.org. I want you to check them out. You can contribute right on their website. Companies can sponsor them. And what you're basically doing is you're helping guys like Jose get out there and rebuild their lives. And one of the most exciting things that I just saw on Jose's Instagram, which you should go check out, and Weed for Warriors, went on a river rafting trip and they went rock climbing. And these guys who are missing limbs are climbing up rock walls and going river rafting. And I'm thinking to myself, I thought I couldn't do that. So I have no excuse to get off my ass, my lazy ass right now to go do that. I want to go on Jose. Awesome. Because I think you guys will still do better than me. Get up the wall way faster than I will.
Honestly, that's what we want to do. So I'm very, very privileged because of the fact that people can see my deficits. So a lot of my friends, what they do, they invite me on because they want to make sure that that guy that feels like he can't achieve stuff will look at me and be like, hey, if Jose can do it, I can do it. Or I'm going to at least try and do my best. Like that other gentleman that I had on my Instagram, he actually got shot on his left side of his head and lost all mobility of his right side.
Wow.
So he actually had to amputate his right leg because of how bad he would twist it. He had no feeling on it. So every time he would he would damage it. So he asked the doctor if he cut his leg off. To me, that man is even braver than I am because he had a choice. Does that make sense? So those are the guys that inspire me, and I'm going to make sure that I have a voice for them. Because a lot of these guys feel like they don't have a voice. Like my founder, Kevin Richardson, he actually feels like he can't say anything because his body's okay. But because of the things we've seen, he's in a different mind state. So what I do is use myself to my advantage and make sure that the people that need to hear this hear it from the right person. Right. And then they won't judge that next person that needs to be judged. Does that make sense? So
I love that. And we have to run to a quick commercial break. But don't go anywhere, Jose. We'll be right back. And we are excited to talk more about Weed for Warrior Project. So listen to a word from our sponsors. We'll be here.
Cannabis Confidential with Dr. Dina will continue after a word from our most confident sponsors.
The next generation of vaporizers has arrived. Vuber vaporizers are blazing the way with unparalleled technology for oil, concentrate, or dry flower pens. Providing unsurpassed customer service and expert craftsmanship, Vuber vaporizers use cutting-edge technology, providing a power-packed, smoother vapor with a lifetime guarantee. Experience vaporizing the way it was meant to be. The Vuber way.
Oh, let the marijuana llama tell you something now about a game for your phone gonna make you say, wow! The game's about the game of growing cannabis for cash. Grow the seed, sell the bud, put the savings in the stash. Little by little, your empire grows large. Put different celebrities inside your entourage. You can choose to play with Snoop or me or Cheech and Chong, Cypress Hill, Willie Nelson, Wiz Khalifa with a bong. The name of the game is Hemp Inc., that's the point. Download and play while you light yourself a joint. The business of cannabis should be no crime. Hemp Inc. is even hot-proofed by the man who run High Times. Oh yeah? Get it on Android and iOS today. Marijuana llama out. Got to tend to me own crops, you know. Money don't make itself. Hemp Inc.
Dr. Dabber, hurry! Its temperature is shooting past 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It's burning up.
I'm afraid for this little guy, it's just too late.
What caused the problem?
Only Dr. Dabber can maintain the perfect temperature for a smooth-tasting, slower burn. This standard vaporizer lost all of its health benefits, sending it up in smoke.
So you're telling me that most vapor pens burn so hot they produce smoke, not vapor?
Correct. Keep away from those standard vaporizer pens and turn to Dr. Dabber. Doctor's orders.
Less heat, more flavor.
CannabisRadio.com keeps you in the know Monday through Friday on air and on demand with Cannabis Radio News. Presented with the definitive worldwide news source, the Associated Press. Stay informed with exclusive news on all things cannabis. Cannabis Radio News, live weeknights at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific during the Russ Belville Show, or download the daily podcast exclusively on CannabisRadio.com, as well as iTunes, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. When breaking news happens in the cannabis industry, Cannabis Radio News delivers the details first.
Dr. Dina is back with more Cannabis Confidential, only on CannabisRadio.com.
And we're back with Jose Martinez, weedforwarriorproject.org. Jose, how can people find out more information to help out more veterans like you?
Well, honestly, as long as you're not donating to Wounded Warrior Project, there's many different ways. I help out from the cannabis community, as you were saying, we're Weed for Warriors. And also, I help out from other different veterans that are not even part of the cannabis community, but just want to help veterans out. So organizations like White Heart that we actually have raffles going on for right now to take us out on more ecotherapy trips. And we have BSA that take us out on hunting trips. So a lot of guys like myself, I never thought that I was going to be able to shoot all over again. And they taught me all over again that we can do anything that we want as long as we put our minds to it and we have that right person helping us out. So in all honesty, just going up to us and thanking a person is probably the best thing you could do, or is a great start. After that, you can talk to that actual veteran and see what they're into and want to see if they want to help out any organizations. But if you want to help us out in the veteran community with the cannabis, you can literally, tonight we have an event going on, so any Weed for Warrior event that we have, we actually would love any type of donations that you would want to give. So we would take anything. We would rather have medication over money, to be honest with you.
Excellent. So you guys are looking for sponsors of medicine. So all shout out to all the growers out there who have excess meds and want to help out a veteran. We can make it happen. Reach out to weedforwarriorproject.org. Donate your meds. Donate some money. Get these guys on these eco trips. I love it. It's so inspiring. And where can people, do you have a website, Jose? Where can people find more about you?
Honestly, I'm actually just starting my Facebook page, and they can find me on Instagram. So if they ever just want to send me messages, I answer everything and anything. No question is off limits, to be honest with you. I'm here to help anybody. If it comes down to the kids all the way to the oldest adult. I mean, anybody needs inspiring, and I just want to make sure they live their life to the fullest just as much as I live mine.
So, Jose, I have a question for you. If you were to live your life all over again, would you make the same decisions?
I would not have legs or an arm. I've been the happiest ever in my life after my experiences.
Gosh, I just love you. You're the most amazing guy ever. And everyone, just if that is just a tenth of, the power that, I can give you in one day of inspiration, is showing you that, looking at Jose, and he wouldn't change a thing, I can't say I would change a thing. And there have been bad things that have happened to me too. And life has brought us all here for a reason. And I'm so happy that we've all come together to love cannabis and to make this plant, really heal so many people. And in the beginning, it was people with cancer and with AIDS. And now we're seeing, bringing back people from fighting in war and losing limbs and PTSD and all sorts of traumatic brain injuries and menstrual cramps. We've covered it all on Cannabis Confidential, and it's so exciting. So thank you so much for being our guest today, Jose. You've been a pleasure to talk to. Thank you so much for tuning in to Cannabis Confidential. Shout out to all my producers who make the show so incredible. And I want you to check out my website, Dr. Dina 420. And I'm on Instagram, Dr. Dina 420, on Snapchat, Dr. Dina 420, and Twitter, Dr. for my show. Give us lots of thumbs up, 5 stars. Give us lots of love. We'll give you the love right back. Thank you for listening to Cannabis Confidential. Over and out.
The opinions expressed on this CannabisRadio.com program are those of the guests and hosts and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff and management of CannabisRadio.com. Any rebroadcast or redistribution without proper consent of CannabisRadio.com is prohibited.